Welcome to QueerTWENTY, the cohort of 2022. QueerTWENTY is egomonk's annual flagship program where we celebrate stellar queer Indians succeeding in different fields such as science, commerce, business, etc. Today we have a very important voice with us, Manish Chopra. Manish is a corporate veteran and is currently the Senior Art Director at Amazon India. He has been vocal about non-binary inclusion in corporate spaces and takes up every opportunity to make corporate India a little more inclusive. So without further ado, let's welcome Manish. Manish, thank you so much for joining us today. A lot of queerness, a lot of queer practices involve this habitual questioning of what have been taught to us as a normative beliefs, right? So clothes, gender, sexuality, etc. What does your queerness look like? Where are you on your queer journey?
So, I know there's a lot of preconceived notions that everybody comes up with, right? I mean, I dress up as something that what I would like to just wear on a daily basis. I don't see that this is going to be masculine or feminine or right or wrong and what people would think about. Now it's up to them, though we don't use those words anymore where people would start stereotyping and say, hey, you're looking more X and then you're looking more Y or you're looking ABC. No, I don't think like that at all. I dress up as what I would like to wear on any day. It could be anything. Yeah, there are thoughts in mind that if I'm going for a meeting, should I be a little more formally dressed or little more casually dressed? But there are times that I've broken those norms also. I have gone with something slightly, I mean, not really colorful, but yeah, which is, I mean, my colors are still gray and black and whites and blues, but I've gone to Amazon board meetings also with whatever I would like to wear, and I don't think it raised any eyebrows or anything at all.
What about your own understanding of your queerness? Like on the spectrum, where do you lie, and how has the journey been?
Yeah, that's kind of, it takes us back right from the beginning. I know there was a time where I would like to, I mean, as a kid, I remember dressing up, playing with my aunt's clothing or with a, with something a little more effeminate. And then, but as a kid, you will see a lot of, boy child, getting into frocks and things like that. And it's us who define that identity. At that time, the child doesn't know what you would like to wear and what is it coming from. So initially, I don't think I was at all conscious, but as we crossed our 10th grade and 11th and 12th standard, I think the pressure from the school and the teams and people there start objectifying you, and also about, hey, would you walk like a girl, or would you dress up like a woman, or you dress up like something like that. Those kind of things I've seen, I've faced. And I would never go for playing cricket. I would stay in the classroom with my girlfriends and want to do, learn batik or some kind of a special art or something which is very, very, related to more creative. And they would make fun of that also. Um, I know as a child, our clothing is decided by parents. Not anymore, but I think a couple of years back when we were in school, it was decided by parents. So they would wear something, oh, you need to wear this color, or you need to wear something very simple and not really go very flamboyant. But yeah, there were limitations, and I have been subjected to what are you wearing and why are you wearing. Though I think my dressing style is very, it's fashion forward, it's trendy, so it doesn't fall into something super creative. But I mean, I've been on the in the on the periphery of dressing very like standardized, contrived formats. It's not too flamboyant. If that answers your question.
So, Manish, a lot of queers don't seem it to be a necessary fact to come out to public as long as they come out to themselves. What they essentially do is they reverse the definition of coming out to bringing in. With that as context, what role has coming out played in your life, if it has played any role?
It was really important because I go to a family meeting and the first question is asked, when are you getting married? How many children do you have? Till date, I lost my father last year, and my mother's conversation with me always been, if you were married, things would have been different. And I keep asking her that, why would you say that? Because am I not looking after you? In fact, your own daughter who's married, perhaps not able to give you as much time because she has kids and husband and family and everything. But you get my undivided attention, but I don't think she gets to understand. Now that makes me feel a little disappointed at the time. But coming out, knowing that, my boyfriends could come home, stay with me, or, we could invest in the property and doing everything together brings that confidence. I don't have to shy away from, not telling people that, hey, I'm not going to get my wife for your dinner meeting. They don't ask me a question. On the contrary, they end up saying, oh, you don't have responsibilities. Now, they think that they are being very smart and correct, but that's also not right because I have to pay the same bills. In fact, I don't have a partner who could, you know, invest into, like, run a house together or share my expenses. We have to pay the same bills. We have to earn our, we need to dig the well every day. So it's all sort of things that we get to. But coming out helps because I walk into a meeting and I speak to my new manager and I speak to, my team. I don't have to hide anything. I would just go and my introduction starts as, oh, by the way, just to let you know that, I don't have a girlfriend. I don't have a wife, So that helps because if there is a female manager or a male manager, I think suddenly the lines are drawn and then they get very comfortable. They can express themselves. And I have seen that relationship changing. In fact, it has helped me on the contrary much more as what people who don't come out. I felt that it brings a lot of ease.
So, you have worked in corporate spaces for a long time. What has been your experience as a queer person in an inclusive corporate space, which is an exception, sadly, not a general norm? How has it helped you, and what exactly has helped you be a part of this culture?
So I've been lucky. I think the only reason we don't face any blockers or anything because we work with creative and fashion and something related to this. But it was a journey to educate the corporate people I work with also. It was not easy for them to understand that, hey, sometimes they would shy away to even discuss a topic. But I think, ever since I've been into corporates, I was not very open or talkative or explicit about my sexuality right in the beginning. Say this is early 2000s. I worked with multiple organizations, and then I had, and then I started working towards, working with India Today and United Nations and UK-based company like e-commerce, Scoops.com and now Amazon. I feel also the times have changed. Amazon is also making a lot of big effort in terms of understanding what is that space and give that, but now it's possible in fashion world, but is it possible in warehousing? Is it possible in every other section? Is it possible in defined organized jobs, but is it possible in unstructured jobs also? I don't know. But my experience has been, there was a time that I had to educate people, tell them about, again, I use the similar, similar examples and analogy of you need to pay your bills, you need to earn your money, you need to pay your rentals, you need to get your dreams, you need to get a house, you need to get a car. So everything is same. The efforts are not different. In fact, it's double. But yeah, there was a bit of education that was required. Off late, I've seen a lot of organizations working towards inclusivity and understanding where you come from. My last two organizations have also managed to, they ensured that leadership is calling you up, understanding your journey, understanding the hurdles that you met or you had in the past, and then coming up with solutions and being empathetic empathetic towards what we could provide. So it has changed a lot now.
Since you have belonged to like an inclusive workspace, if you were to talk about three non-negotiables that definitely make a workplace queer inclusive, what would those be?
I think the first and foremost is they need to stop talking about, hey, are you a fashion designer? Are you a graphic designer? I just don't understand that. Why is it? It's so bad that if there is a normal binary or um, uh, workspace which is requiring like a regular, sorry, normal is not the word I meant to use for people. What I meant was, if there's a normal working space where you have multiple functions, assumption of you being gay or lesbian or transsexual or transgender or anything, any binary or non-binary form, is should stop. Work should not be related to, hey, if you are queer, are you in a certain type of function? That's one thing which I think the stereotypical jobs related to, you must be queer and that's why you're in a job like that, should stop. That should be the first form of it. Second, I feel that if you come across somebody with not such a baritone or a voice that is different, or the appearance that is not fitting into something, should not be objectified. I think it should not be like, how will you carry this job, or how will you carry something like this? Will you be able to influence people who will work under you? That should be the second thing, like non-negotiable. And the third thing, which I feel little very closely inspired, or as you can say, like I feel it affects me when somebody says, hey, you're single, so your expenses must be less. I don't think that's the right thing to do. Oh, you don't have any responsibilities. Means what? You don't have responsibility of a mother or a father or children. You don't have to pay the fee. That I don't understand. Like, what if I have to do my nip and tuck, or to just keep looking young, or to travel? Like, who will pay for that? Like that. So that that's your choice. You want to invest into kids, but I think that is non-negotiable. The third thing which I can't comment, sorry, the fourth thing, since you have not asked, but I'm just giving you that additional bit, is there's a lot of adoption which is going on right now. So I don't know, it works for somebody, it doesn't work for someone. But this whole rule of saying that queer people should not adopt, I don't know how that works. I mean, I have not understood that, so I can't either comment. DEI teams is something that we see way more common today than we would have, let's say, seen a decade back. But there is a growing school of criticism against DEI. What this school says is corporates have reduced DEI and inclusivity to a branding tactic. Okay, so with that as context, how do you differentiate between authentic efforts for queer inclusion versus performative actions that a lot of corporates perform under subtle and sometimes not so subtle rainbow capitalism? This is always going to be capitalization of every effort. There's always going to be people talking about hey, I've just introduced this. Now you start a bar and or you throw a party and you charge people from the same community. Is that not capitalization? How are we supportive of that, right? What I'm saying is that if a corporate is acknowledging and making a statement, even if they do some percentage of it and not 100%, will that not be counted or seen as a great effort? Now, when the DEI conversation started, even at our company or previous companies, it was restricted to, hey, we need more inclusive, and more inclusive means bringing women. And I was like, I mean, I get it, but inclusivity is not about women on top or men on top. It's about giving people the identity to express themselves and not judge them, and talk about everything so that they feel part of the entire structure that you're talking about. It took a couple of years, but it has evolved. I think this is what it will change. Now, when I say somebody, hey, I love you, I don't gauge what percentage of that love is. One person will end up loving the other person slightly more, and the person who would receive love back perhaps may not be same as what you have got it from the first person. I don't think that percentage matters. I think the DEI, the spectrum that has started, the idea of we are acknowledging and we are bringing people and we are talking about it, will matter person to person. You will see all sort of people, cohorts, but if you end up acknowledging that there is a problem and we need to address it, I think this is where you start. Some of the companies may not be super fashionable, for example, but if they acknowledge that we are not fashionable and we need to onboard fashion people to make it fashionable, is that not a journey that we all have to tread? So I would differ. I would say that yes, corporates are doing something about it, not because I'm part of it, but me being a person who's part of it and believe in it and very actively works on a lot of initiatives, I'm not seeing that there is anything amiss. There are people who are allies who are working on it to make sure and ensure, they are into different roles. They are ensuring that, that people are able to understand and be sensitive towards it. And so it's a step in the right direction. You will always have multiple people with various intensities to, support it fully or half-heartedly or some kind of percentage. But I think it's important that we do it because it's only going to go better. It may not become worse. And it's better not to have it at all than having some part of it, is what I think.
I think the intention, and this is just my opinion, I think the intention matters a lot because the same systems that tend to want to include you have also been the prime cause of your exclusion, right? Like, let's talk schools, let's talk governments, let's talk workplaces. These are institutions, and the reason now we need inclusivity is inclusivity doesn't stand without you being excluded in the first place. So I think that's why it matters as to with what intention do you want to include these people. Do you want to include these people because you have recognized that they have been marginalized for generations to generations, and now it's a time to not do that to them? Or do you want to include them because this looks good on your brand and this gets you better profits, this gets you more followers, or whatever reasons are there apart from the reasons for the marginalized communities themselves? But what you say is not entirely incorrect in my opinion too, because whatever the intentions be, let's say under some DEI efforts, if 5 queers get a job and they are able to sustain themselves, their loved ones, their families with whatever lifestyle they can now afford because of this job, the intention stops mattering because the consequence has already happened and happened in a good way for these 5 folks at least.
Any effort in any direction, even if it was marginalized before, I think is important, and we should definitely give that credit to people who are making it work, even if it's for the eyeballs, but at least it's there. So that if it's there for the eyeballs today, but maybe in 3 years from now, it may not be there for the eyeballs, it will become the reality or part of it.
Manish, how do you think corporate India can go beyond diversity hiring to actually retain and support the growth of their queer as well as neurodivergent workforce?
I also feel that it's in the corporate world, you start hiring people and you get people on board for their abilities, right? It's not because of their sexualities, and that's what should be given the right priority. I think I wish if the government also has similar structure of people who are able to prove and contribute and have the report cards ready at the end of the year and see how you're bringing. And that's what I meant. You should not be judging them for senior jobs, for more responsible jobs, for managerial jobs, for will a queer person who is slightly more effeminate perhaps will be able to judge people, or transgender people or transgender folks who could lead. They could lead with empathy, they could lead with retaining people, because now with aging and in the population, the way it's exploding, you'll get all sort of people. What you will not get is people who can understand that anyone giving you years of life working in a corporate and not starting something on his own, which means making your dream comes true. So give them the benefit of that yes, you're responsible and you're capable, and don't judge them for the sexuality only. I think it needs to be slightly more merit based, where in any case I think that's how they hire, so they should continue to hire that, but irrespective of their the tags of sexuality.
Queerness and career, economic stability are two life areas. Let's say sexuality and your career are two life areas that adults think, like early adulthood journey comprises a lot of our attention. You seem to be in a place where you have embraced your gender, your sexuality, where you have followed a path that has gotten you to a good standing in work field. So if you were to give an advice to folks, queers or not, who are struggling with some career decisions, what would that be?
That's what I'm saying, that the career decisions is always a tricky path. I give you my example. In 10th standard, we have decided to choose between arts, science and commerce. We end up choosing, have no idea about what is this going to be. In 12th, we are on crossroads again, then now which college? Depending upon our, that can we afford this college, can we go abroad, can we stay in here, can we go to this college or the other college? And then after college again, which job, what company? And you end up joining a company and then you don't know, which section should you be, if you're a right fit or not. So I feel the conversation with yourself about, that even if you have done fashion design, you could be doing styling. If you have done styling, you could be doing graphic design. If you have done graphic design, you can still do finance. If you've done finance, can you not become an artist? If you have studied politics or humanities, I don't know, can it not take you to a political position or something? I feel the confidence is something that we all have to inculcate and to express, the confidence of expressing your thought, and then conviction of doing something even if it's wrong, because age is on your side in the initial years. Go ahead and do it, because it will never be enough. It will never be a plan that the path that you're choosing, if you're going to continue on this for next 25 years. No, it can change, drop at any given point. I have changed my jobs. I started as mathematics honors and my parents were pushing me into medical and engineering, and I chose fine arts, and then I was appearing for mathematics honors and giving all the calculus and integration and studying all of that, and then moved to arts and design, and then became interior designer, and then moved into graphic design, and now the art direction and creative head of an e-commerce. Could never decide. I didn't even know. I used to say I'm going to do my dad's business, and today I am, after 25 years, thinking that I have to look for another job or I have to do something right now. So I think conviction, confidence of what you would like to do or what is available for that at that moment is what you have to do, and then continue to learn, because the only thing that is going to stay with us is the agility, is the way you will, adaptability. That if you are able to adapt to something, given your experience around you, is what you will end up exploring. So the more aware you are, the better chances of us to grab what we would like to do. Otherwise, it is going to be run of the mill on a daily basis, like rigmarole. You just continue being part of the whole life cycle. I know not everybody gets that chance to do the kind of things we would like to do, but having said that, planning to some extent helps, but confidence and desire that what you would like to do helps greater. So my advice is that keep ears and eyes open, be more sensitive to surroundings, because that allows you to to consider and nurture what you would like to do or what's available for you to pick up. If you don't have the flexibility or the if not lucky enough that we can pick and choose what we would like to do.
Within the queer community, who needs the most support?
I think the person who doesn't have the confidence requires the most support. And the only thing that you need to work on is to give them the confidence to make them realize, and you'll be surprised once they come out, they may just be as strong as you have never imagined.
Who is your queer role model?
I think could be a chef in the country, because I think she has managed to make a lot of dreams come true, does what she wants, which has always been, say, a male bastion as such. So there is a queer chef. I don't know if I can name, but yeah, she is one of them.
What's the best thing about being queer?
Sensitive to the surroundings.
Who is your favorite character on? Who is your favorite queer character on screen?
That I don't know.
Okay. How does queer youth of today differ from queer youth of earlier generations?
I think the queer of today is more informed and aware, and perhaps can put a scientific approach to, hey, we might be bringing or able to bring the population down, and maybe a scientific way of just telling everyone that, that we exist. But in initial years, I think they will all just end up getting married and having children and having a double life and things like that, which I think was a sad part of it, but we have seen some.
What is one thing that scares you the most?
I think when we are able to, or the ideas that get inculcated or thrown at us from our parents and everybody else, that what will you do if you're alone? Because there's no guarantee. My first question to them is, tell me, do you have your partner alive with you at this age? Because when you needed somebody the most, the person is gone, and you have been spending your life with somebody you didn't know you'll be spending your rest of your life. So there's no difference. The only difference is that we'll end up preparing ourselves that the life, we all come alone and we all go alone. But other than that, I don't think there's any fear. If you if you overcome your fears, then I think the paths are much easier.
Okay, that's a good strategy for combating your fears, but that still doesn't answer my question. What is one thing that scares you the most in this moment?
I think what scares me the most is that sometimes that if I'm wanted for my looks or for the person that I am, sometimes I may not get that answer.
What inspires you the most?
To be able to influence other people's lives. So in my age, if I able to influence, say, those maybe 10 people in life who we can support and change, I think our mission to come on this world is accomplished.
Okay, I'm going to say a couple of words and give me your immediate reaction. These could be verbal reactions or these could be totally non-verbal reactions. You could totally roll your eyes too, that's what I mean. Okay, so workplace equity. Okay, homophobia. Allyship. Ambition. Politics. India. Thank you, Manish, for this conversation. I'm so grateful that you are a part of this cohort.